So I finally got my new notebook after about a month of just writing everything on napkins and pieces of paper. Things were happening so fast. And it was like, man, I never took the time to stop to actually get a proper notebook. And one of the things I love this particular brand of notebook because I do something called bullet journaling. And I'm making, you can Google that, but you can, what I really like about it is I love the grid, the dot grid. And let me open this up really quick. It's hardback. And you can tell it's, very high quality notebook because the tools that you choose are really important. Wait, is this a dot grid? Oh, wait, is this a dot grid? Oh, okay. Yeah, so anyway, so this is the notebook that I got. And we're just getting out of hand. Like I was saying before, we were experiencing so much growth. I had all these pieces of paper all over the place and couldn't keep track of anything. So I decided to just go ahead and buy it. So I just picked it up yesterday and looking forward to getting back to this, taking notes. I'm really glad that I was able to finally get that notebook because while I was at the coffee shop, I was able to take some time to dial in on our messaging a little bit. Because one of the things that we're finding is people are confusing us for just one function of the whole revenue operation scope. And it's understandable because people just think you're a digital marketing agency, and that's okay, but that's not what we do. So we're getting a lot of confusion, I guess you can call it confusion in the marketplace in terms of how we communicate our offering. And I was able to, take some time to really, just write down some thoughts and some ideas on, how are we currently communicating to potential clients, and then getting feedback from them and hearing keywords that we never even said out of our mouth, but it's something that they had in their head or their perception of our offering. So, about to head to my office, have a meeting coming up, and we're gonna get a line and dial in. At least I'm gonna spend a couple, minutes, 10, 15 minutes, just trying to begin to unpack our offering and make it in a more succinct way so that there's no confusion around what it is. I was going through Twitter today, and one of the tweets that really stood out to me that really challenged me, especially as I'm trying to dial in messaging for both of my companies and projects that I'm working on, is the idea of as a CEO, your job is to live in the future and then beckon others to join you. And it's really tough because I think I quite naturally default to being a future-oriented thinker. That is a blessing and a curse at the same time, because the challenge is the communication part, communicating to people to join you on what you see in the future. And I've always struggled with that because for me, quite naturally, I see it clearly. I see the future pretty clearly in terms of looking at patterns. I do a lot of research, so I'm always looking at the past, and you can kind of see how things play out and unfold, which in my case, it puts me in a position where I'm either too early or too late. And as I'm dialing into messaging for both of the projects that I'm on, one, I'm not the CEO, but I work close with the CEO as a portfolio client, and then one at where I am the CEO of it, communicating what I see in the future and bringing it back into 2024 is always the challenge. And it takes some time because sometimes when it comes out of my mouth, when a vision or idea comes out of my mouth, it almost sounds foreign and you're speaking another language to somebody else. and you expect someone to get it, and they're just not going to get it. So the process of simplifying over and over, you got to simplify. That's why I call myself a venture essentialist, because I'm really seeking out the essential pieces of the idea, of the vision that can be displayed. And it's probably one of the hardest things to do, but you don't have much time to do it because the market's going to move with or without you. So you have to time that messaging. You're going into the future and time that messaging to what's happening right now in 2024 and making it relevant. One of the benefits of having a portfolio of projects that you're working on, when you get stuck on one of the projects, you can jump over to the next one. And what that does is, for me, it's almost like I'm able to cross-pollinate ideas from one idea to the next, kind of like a bee. How a bee can, like, they cross-pollinate the pollen from one to the next. That's the same effect that I get, because I was stuck earlier trying to dial in some messaging, and it just wasn't coming the way I wanted to come. But I was able to hop over to the next project, and for some reason, everything started to flow on that when I was working on that. And I just always find that interesting how that works. And I've said this before, most of the reason why you find yourself in a stuck position, like mentally, you almost feel overwhelmed and overstimulated with maybe information, is you're not asking the right questions. And that's what happened to me. I was trying to solve it with a frame that wasn't going to work. So once I got down to the right question to ask, that's when everything started flowing. And that's the whole benefit of being able to have multiple projects. You get accelerated answer solutions by just doing that. And it makes a huge difference, because you don't want to be or have one single point of failure. Because if one thing goes down, that's it. If I didn't have any other projects, I would have been stuck for a little bit. But I don't have one point of failure. I have multiple projects, multiple things happening all at the same time. Some people say, well, just focus. There is a place in focus, but the focus is on the North Star. And the North Star is what keeps everything aligned and keeps everything making sense. Other years, not everything going to work that you're working on is going to be a success. So I like to think of myself as a venture capitalist. And what they do is they use something called the power laws. And the power laws allows them to invest in multiple, sometimes hundreds of companies, and they know only 2% are going to be their big hits, and they're going to pay those companies that actually win whatever prize they're going for is going to pay for all the other losses. So that's how I try to think, not like an entrepreneur. Think like a venture capitalist with multiple ideas. Oh, what's good, bro? How you doing, man?
Not much, son.
Good. For the day, as you see, I have to go and buy an umbrella. I've been slacking because this week, for some reason, it's been raining all week. So with that said, you already know what to do, especially if you made it this far in the video. With that said, peace.